7 could get upset to a 10 seed, right? You don't expect a 7 to lose to a 26 like we had earlier. Now, though, this is a highly contested match. This now features 2 teams each that have pool play experience, professional experience. These are some of the best Halo players in the world going at it today.
This is our first time today back onto Empyrean as the early picks go to Complexity, but I think Overshield might be won by Precision here as he repulsor jumps up to the top of Sword there. Cycle turns around, finds a perfect headshot, takes down one. But it might be Precision, who was just melee killed by Tusk, who has some of that overshield remaining. You can see it there. Cycle is looking for the shot, finds a little bit of damage, and it's Precision living and slaying out off of that overshield win.
Cycle, though, doing a great job to baby down that overshield, and even previously before that, Cycle did a great job sniping that one player off spawn and took an additional extra shot at Swish. I thought maybe that was going to make him burn a little bit, go down for it, but no, he disappeared and pushed to the left, pushed that mid-map at just the right time. So the survivability continuing to show here for Cycle.
We need an on-screen counter for Mikowski saying the word survivability, and I think it's well said, because we always look at kills. Who's slaying out? Who's the slaying leader? But the other half of that equation is who's surviving, who's living, who's anchoring for their team, providing those respawns and providing that team fire off of their survivability. So add one to that counter. Here comes Monster on the push. 3 are down for Avengers, now off the respawn. Can Complexity break their way through the flag? It looks like right now they're happy to hold mid-map control. Monster's taking down, and Avengers are rallying quickly.
Yeah, Avengers doing a great job there. Complexity taking all 4 down for the Avengers, but it was with pressure from the Avengers. So now that mid-map still highly contested. Collect gonna have to win this green hall battle if he wants to help his team earn that mid-map control, as he does just that. 2 down for the Avengers, all 4 up for Complexity. Numbers, positioning, and map control you're looking for if you're a Complexity fan.
Yeah, but Complexity are being very patient. I haven't decided yet if it's too patient, because even off of the slays, they're just still holding the 50-yard line. Huss has kind of broken through that line of defense. Collect is on the hunt. The assist through, and now Complexity with numbers advantage yet again. It looks like Tusk might be making his way to the flag. He got the flag touch, but not enough to rotate out of the base. Avengers are all spawning back at that sniper side tower, and this is where Complexity, they fall back, because of the power-ups are spawning in 3 seconds.
Wow, very impressive here for the Avengers to go 3-4 down back-to-back and play really well off their back foot. Look at this. Cycle gets rockets for Complexity, but 3 go down for Complexity. So despite the rocket grab for Cycle, it's the Avengers that have pressure in the base of Complexity. They got to watch out.
And you're gonna love this, Mikowski, because it was Avengers' timing of the kills. They were winning out the slays just as those power-ups spawn in. Even though you saw the loss of the rockets, they pretty much neutralized the use of those rockets because they had the numbers. Neurotical has made it all the way to the base of Complexity before he's taken down. Precision is here as well, but Collect, how? How did he win Overshield? Avengers have the numbers, Avengers have map position. Collect comes out with the other power-up, and this is quite the game of tug-of-war we see right here. Back and forth for this mid-map power-up control.
Equally impressive play, though, there from Huss as he babies down that overshield from Collect and has a huge kill as he now has that mid-map control with the green hall, Tusk, and Collect on the long haul side. And Collect will single-handedly take him down. Cycle on the opposite side of Snipe Tower gets that nasty jump shot over the top, and all the while Monster has that flag out. 3 down again for Avengers, starting to stagger here. This looks like a really good run for Complexity.
It does, but guess who stops that run? It's Huss yet again. Huss with a triple kill. Huss takes down Complexity. Stops this run in its tracks. Nobody's there for the return just yet, but also nobody from Complexity can make it to that flag touch. They're right back to the beginning, and it's due to Huss's clutch play.
And that is a single-handed play there from Huss. Unbelievable that he was able to almost single-handedly stop this Complexity roster as he almost takes 2 down again. But all the while, he's making sure that the damage advantage is for the Avengers. Now, can they find that mid-map control? We've seen Complexity on the side of Avengers more often than not. Now we're looking to see if Avengers can push out, but Cycle going to make it very difficult here with that sniper control.
A quick eye check, and slays are very equal from side to side. A slight advantage for Complexity. That Cycle is looking to extend with a beautiful snipe shot. Fires off a few warning bursts, enough to back off the Avengers. Here comes the next push, and in the pivotal 1v1, Cycle takes down Neuronical, and wasn't even at risk there of being traded back out. He is now, though, spends the last round of that sniper. He's trying to cover for Monster. Tusk is rotating into the fight, and it's more of that teamwork from Complexity that's winning out the slays. But watch out, the counter to Complexity is Huss all game, and add rockets on top of it. Huss gets through, breaks through, grabs the flag.
And despite all of that work from Complexity, it's the Avengers with a pull-out long-range heat-seeking missile out for Huss. And he's going to take down 3. Unbelievable plays here from Huss. But Collect has the answer in an overshield. Gets babied down by Huss and Swish. And that is looking like the first score of the game for the Avengers. So calm, cool, and collected. So patient. Unbelievable heads-up play and strategy communication from them as that puts the first flag on the board.
Avengers gave up Overshield, and what they gained from that trade-off was the first flag capture on the board. Huss breaks through with kill after crucial kill, and now Cycle is looking for a little bit of revenge of his own. He gets the flag, he hops and barely makes it around the corner. He makes it to some cover, tosses off the flag like a baton to Monster, who finds his death. Precision stays alive, gets the double kill, looking for the triple. But there's still numbers for Complexity to run this flag until it Swish's double kill. That's the double-double that sets this back to the spawn.
Oh, and Complexity gave you their best counter there. Avengers handle it so well, like in a heavyweight fight. Complexity taking the first headshot and then following up with a few haymakers of their own, but Avengers were able to stand strong on 2 feet, continuing to hold this 1-0 lead. And with 5 minutes, just a little over 5 minutes left to go, the Avengers got to feel good, but they got to feel not great about going 3-4 down, but it's 3-4 down for Complexity as well. So despite those members of Avengers going down, Complexity isn't going to be able to push much further on the map because of it.
I know it's early to reference the clock, but it's not too early for Cycle to find the no-scope headshot. But more than half of the time has been spent. So much time for both teams in order for that first capture to come through for Avengers. Complexity, this might have them shaken for the first time today. They might be a little bit put off of their game because their game is not working against Avengers clutch play time and time again. Tusk tries to rotate through to the sniper tower, but he's taken down. Meanwhile, across the map, Huss wins a kill in order to get the touch onto the flag. Monster versus Huss. Here comes Monster around the corner. Huss clutches up again.
Huss at 19 and 11. He could be 9 and 11 and he'd still be having a great game because every time his team needs a clutch slay, it's Huss who's finding it. Precision finds another heat-seeking missile. How good have the Rockets been for Avengers? The Rockets 2 in a tube, 2 on the score sheet. 2-0 Avengers looking really strong here against Complexity.
It started with Precision had that initial break overshield. Remember, we had the reset where Avengers had lost overshield, but when we get back to the replay, Precision wins it out. He's winning overshield again here, finds the final shot, uses the repulsor to send back the potentially lethal frag grenade as Collect really gave that fight his all. Precision does stay alive, at least for now. Survivability being so crucial to get back in the fight. Again, utilizing that repulsor to stall for time, regen the shield, and we have 2 players from Avengers putting pressure on Complexity's base yet again.
Precision, great decision there to disengage, find his teammate, find his support there, and Swish did not like what he saw in that gunfight, and now he recollects with full shields, full ammo, but it doesn't have Swish to help there. A little bit of a miscommunication there as 2 push through for Complexity. They're going to be able to clear out this Avenger squad. Unless Huss can make an incredible play as the last member alive, doing it once again, stopping this Complexity roster from being able to really push off their front foot.
Yeah, he almost survived again. He gets the melee on to Collect. He's gonna get the assist as Neurotical finds that kill. But it's been Huss putting Complexity on that back foot. They're down 2, below 3 minutes left on the clock. Not mathematically impossible, but quite the mountain early on in this series for Complexity to overcome. Monster finds the pick, stops Huss from overextending into the base of Complexity. Neurotical on the run, but Collect finds that kill. We're trading out kill for kill. A little bit of numbers advantage back on the side of Avengers, and Collect here to equalize it back out.
Oh, but Collect goes down. Numbers even for the time being. The slightest advantage here for Complexity at an important time where they're fighting for that mid-map control, and most importantly, Overshield and Rockets up in 10.
It's the snipe from Precision that finds one kill, and it's the counter snipe from Cycle that shuts it down. Cycle on the killing spree. Cycle with the double kill. There's a player from the Avengers right behind him. It's Swish rotating through the back of the base. Cycle doesn't have any sniper ammo left, and so he's gonna lose on that fight. Swish living up to his name, and even with rockets, Complexity are gonna get stopped short on this break. They won rockets, and they won overshield. Tusk waiting for the opportune moment to activate, and he found that opportune moment. He found that break to get the kill, steal the sniper. It might be a last-ditch desperate attempt from Complexity to get on the scoreboard.
Cycle is absolutely insane. He won that snipe battle against Precision. That was off cam. Nighty Night switched to his POV instantly. And before Nighty Night could even switch to Cycle's POV, he was already turning on his second opponent, which was required a 180 minimum to turn on, and he took him down for the double kill. Unbelievable process and shots. Precision there from Cycle. We're getting to see exactly why.
Cycle versus Huss, and in that 1v1, Cycle is the one to come out with the kills. In fact, now Cycle is the overall kill leader, and don't look now, Complexity are just one capture down, 1 minute to play with. Cycle has turned up in the late stages of this game. You have to hope that it's not too late. Here comes the next push. Complexity don't have time to regroup. Tusk is taken down. 3 go down. Collect is the last alive, and outnumbered Avengers are going to stop this push, leaving Complexity with one more chance.
And when you spawn in, if you're Complexity, all you're going to be seeing is that glaring scope from the battle rifle of the Avengers, as all 4 in position to play the defense they need here to lock up this game 1. Only up by 1 though. So Complexity has a chance. If they can push through this Avengers roster and pull a flag, we could force sudden death OT, but Avengers numbers advantage looking pretty strong here.
Trading out kills is a win condition right now for Avengers, and 2 more go down. Time is gonna run out. Maybe Tusk can make a desperate rush, but the clock is against them. Complexity, you might have gotten 1 capture on the board, but it's Avengers coming out with a vengeance, fighting for their seeding spot back, and they get the game 1 win.
32-18 for Huss, but that's not what I'm most impressed by. It was that play at the beginning, just as it looked like Complexity. They had all the pressure magic, all the slays, all the pulls, and had one through the long haul, if not for the triple kill from Huss. It's not only that he had all the time, all the kills at the right time, right place. He was doing it in high volumes, voluptuously, finding the 30 bomb. Only 18 deaths. Huss had a great game.
You could have said he did it beautifully, but you chose the word voluptuous instead. And for that, I'm excited. I'm glad to be your duo, Mikowski, because why use a 5-cent word when you can use a 10-cent word instead? So much better. And I can't agree with you more. Huss was making clutch plays that were not just looking good on the stat screen, although 32-18 does look pretty nice. It was the plays that made the difference, that stopped the run or opened up an attack. We saw it time and time again. Even though the power-ups seemed to be about a 50-50 split, there were times that Complexity won rockets and overshield and still were not able to convert it into the flag run that they needed.
Yeah, and look at this. 4 minutes into the game, and it's highly contested. It was really all throughout, and I'm glad that the final score reflected it with that 2-1 finish. Complexity able to put 1 on the board, but Cycle, he was popping off, but it wasn't enough. That's got to be a little frustrating for him, right? As an individual, you think to yourself, gosh, what else can I do? I did everything I could. So have to keep that in the back of your mind as we have not only the battle on the battlefield, but the battle in the minds of all of his opponents.
I absolutely agree that there's a mental battle here. A little bit of strange behavior. I'm wondering if there's a crash potentially, because I see some players standing still, and it looks like this is going to go back to the lobby, at least for a brief moment. Unfortunately, but par for the course. And I like what you brought up about Cycle, right? Because he was a standout player. Like, he was popping off in that game. He nearly matched the number of slays of Huss. But this is where, as a young up-and-coming competitor, I hope that it doesn't get into his head, because this is that mental test. It's kind of similar to what we saw from last weekend, where you had mentioned, maybe Complexity's glad it's went to a game 5 versus Optic instead of the 3-0 sweep, because it prepared them for the mental battle that this series is already stacking up to be.
Yeah, and for young players like Cycle and Collect, they're young, right? They haven't been in the league very long, so they probably haven't had opportunities to go up against Optic in a game 5. So crucial, valuable learning lessons for these young guns. And hey, when you can take the dub and the learning lesson, usually you got to take the L to earn that learning lesson. That's why they all start with L. But Cycle and Complexity able to take the dub and learn a lot about themselves last week and still starting to learn more about themselves. I really want to go back to that Cycle play where this is it right here. Watch Cycle. When we switch to his POV, he's already looking at the double kill. 99 could not have switched any sooner, and Cycle could not have played the processes. The prioritization of opponents here is some of the best you'll see in the HCSs. Before we even switch POVs, which was instantaneous, by the way, Cycle, as if he's on mouse and keyboard, instantly switches perspective and opponents to Huss and takes him down in short order for the double kill, all while pushing through, maintaining his life, reshielding, repositioning. That was just absolutely beautiful there from Cycle.
I don't want to take anything off of Cycle because that was a voluptuous double kill, if you will. But also, what that tells me is comms. Yes. Complexity are locked in as a team in a way that maybe we didn't even see last week. And I know it's crazy to say that. They lost game number 1, but the comms are there. The slays are there. They fell just short. And now it could be their comeback. This is a team that's not unfamiliar to coming back from behind, right? They jumped 4 seeding places just from last weekend, from the 11th seed now to the 7th. And Avengers, though, equally ready to take on the battle.
Yeah, we've been talking about this Complexity roster a lot today for good reason. We've seen them climbing the ranks. They had the largest jump in seedings from last weekend to this week. But let's shift gears here to this Avengers squad who's, spoiler alert, up 1-0 in this series on Complexity, and this isn't new. We've seen the Avengers take games off the likes of Optic and FaZe, so just like Complexity here climbing the ranks, you have another team right on the edge of that qualification for DreamHack Dallas who looks equally strong in Avengers.
I'm excited to see what Avengers can bring in game number 2 because the only thing they need to take this series is consistency, right? They start off on the right foot. They start off with a 1-0 lead. Can they carry it through in the rest of the series? It's going to be tough to do with a monster lurking in your closet or under your bed or with active camo, but it's the team fire. Avengers single it out. If you're going to take down camo, that's the way to do it.
Huge plays there by the Avengers as Monster could have made a play there and separated this lead. Instead, it's pretty tight, 6-5 off the start. Tusk looking to stay alive in the back of Elevator, and a little bit of a split here. You see that Cycle goes down, so you're going to see 3 on the gold side, but 1 spawning long haul. Let's see how the Avengers play with this positioning.
Player still at long haul. I'm wondering if they rotate to C plat, but it looks like Monster and Cycle might be ready for that flank. It's Precision who's singled out, but it's Collect who finds the opening pick, the breaking kill, if you will, with that shock rifle headshot. Now looking for another onto Neuronical. You see that charged up plasma pistol. It's a plasma pistol versus shock rifle in this little duel. Both teams kind of dividing the map in half and holding their own line, but I think that's advantage to Complexity because they have that 1-hit kill potential in the hands of Collect.
Yeah, and actually, I love that play from Neuronical. It's a play that you might not have even thought had much of an impact, but I love Neuronical there, dropping down from the top area of the gold frag grenades there to make the centering, to make the pre-fire for Collect a little bit more difficult, right? The worst you can do with Collect having this shock rifle right now is to walk into the scope of a head level pre-fire. Avengers doing a great job making it difficult for Collect here.
And you can see that Collect is forced to fall back. He has about half of the ammo that he had earlier, and he's still in the same map position. We saw Avengers rotated through, Precision and Neuronical both in that control, and Collect tries to line up a shot, doesn't connect, and now Precision is taking advantage, but it's the grapple re-engage, and it's the crossfire from Monster. Monster currently at 6-2 is the sole reason why we see this early lead from Complexity as Collect goes in, ends up with a net 0 trade.
8:45. That's when we're going to see the shock rifle come up next. And I'm really curious when camo comes up because now it's the positioning battle you're playing for. Do we want to set up for this camo? Do we want to set up for this shock rifle? Both going to be equally as important, but camo's not up for another 30 seconds at least, so it's going to be the shock rifle you're going to want to play for because of that. You're going to see Complexity maintain their positioning here on this gold side, and I'm expecting Cycle to pick up this next shock rifle. You're gonna have Collect on it previously, but now actually with Cycle locking down, and thanks for the switch there, 99. With Cycle locking down A, it's going to be probably Collect who grabs another shock rifle, looking to snowball the use of that weapon for a victory here in game 2.
Now a 3-point lead, 4-point lead, and it's just climbing because Collect maybe didn't find the kills with the shock rifle, finding the kills now across the map, but he also finds the sticky grenade, the stick from Precision to get the kill. Tusk is trying to approach, trying to find the cleanup on this kill, but it's Swish at the bottom of C stairs, tucked back in the corner. Tusk is gonna find him. It's a 1v1, a pretty clean one at that. And down goes Tusk. Cycle here to clean up the rest of that kill, but trade it back out. This is a win potential comeback here for Avengers that they can keep snowballing on these kills to get back in this game.
Yeah, great job there by Swish to win that 1v1 outright, but then Cycle comes in and gets the trade up 4 here. Can't necessarily start leaning into the trade win condition, but you can certainly start to take advantage of it. But just as I say that, 2 kills now separate these 2 teams in camo, up in 5.
Ammo spawning in 3 seconds, and it has been from a snail's pace. It seems like this game has gone from 0 to 100 in about 3 seconds as soon as one opening pick comes through or one power-up is up for grabs. Swish has it, but Collect is tracking it down. He knew that he was weak. He looks for that flashing shield, and Collect finds that just 1 kill, finds a double kill, trying to stay alive with Precision, rounds the corner. Avengers are still within reach, but they lose any utility of that camo.
And on a map like Recharge, you're looking at the camo as a key point of contention for both squads now. You saw Complexity earlier, Monster going down with it, then Avengers Swish going down with it. Both of these 2 teams playing so well defensively when the other has camo at the halfway mark. I'm looking at the next half of this game to see who's able to break through with that camo and find the value, find the extra 1 to 2 kills you might need to win this game.
There's an extra 2 kills that might win this game. Precision finds the double, but Avengers don't have any time to be comfortable. They're still at a deficit. In fact, if Monster finds another kill, it's still been that 2-point lead for Complexity from the early stage of the game all the way through now as we're past the halfway point. Tusk with a nice grenade for a takedown. Monster trying to overextend, but he can't. He's cut short. This game looking very familiar to what we saw in game number 1 as that tug of war, that back and forth between 2 strong and hungry squads.
And speaking of strong and hungry, if I'm not mistaken, it was a game 5 Recharge Slayer that Complexity took over Optic. So you have to imagine if they're up to the challenge against Optic, surely they're up to the challenge against the Avengers, but it makes sense. They're superheroes. That's why they're having so much difficulty here with them. Despite looking so strong against Optic last week, Avengers still with a chance to come back in this one. Down 2, but once again, it's Collect with that shock rifle. There's the win condition for the Avengers. You got to get that out of his hands. Crucial fight here on the Mangler. Winner could win the game. There we go. Swish and the rest of Avengers have shot control for the first time in this game, a lead for the first time in this game, and they're looking to roll with it.
And they're looking for camo too. Monster might be the only player from Complexity. It looks like he might be sneaking for it, but the contest there from Precision, a little bit of a trade of kills, and for the first time in this game, trade of kills goes in the favor of Avengers. Now it's a tied game though. I think it's Cycle who snuck away with the camo. Tusk cleared a path by getting a kill. Complexity are not ready to let this game slip out of their fingers just yet as they restore that 2-point lead. Cycle unfortunately received a little bit of friendly fire. He goes in for the fight. Huss was the kill leader in game number 1, but he stopped short here as Complexity are back to where we've seen them throughout the game, +2.
And this hasn't been the sexiest camo, but it's the effective use of the camo that both of these 2 teams have needed in this game. Because of it, Complexity has the narrow 2-kill lead after that camo pull from Cycle. Does a great job to impact 3-4 kills there. That's the difference right now in this game. But no, Avengers don't care about the power-up. They are right back in this one. Oh, Complexity heading to the 40s, clinging to this lead.
1-point lead for Complexity. If you live out in the country, they say she thinks my tractor's sexy, but if you're a Halo fan, you think the active camo plays are sexy. Can we see some more of them in this game? We will have camo back in play one more time, assuming neither team hits that 50 kill mark. And this might just be that calm before the storm. Once again, we see the team splitting the map in half, but look at the overextension. 2 players from Complexity are rotating through to A. 1 player from Avengers is right here at the top of Attic. If Tusk takes too much damage, Avengers are going to collapse on him and single him out, and that's exactly what happens as they take him down.
I don't know, Complexity might be looking a little too predictable here. They have really only played the gold side of the map, setting up their like I said, almost predictably, and I feel like Avengers have read it. They've tied this one back up. 42 all, 4 minutes left, plenty of time. This one's going to go to the 50 mark. And now at this point, you're just looking to see what part of the sandbox that can we gravity grapples, as Neurotical has that. And he shock rifles as Neurotical uses that grapple to find an unsuspecting two players. But it's Monster and Collect, showing why there's such a nasty duo finding the slave. But it's Huss once again popping off. 45-44 Avengers.
I think Avengers might have snuck away the camo. I'm not sure where that, if it's a burn at this point. I'm gonna assume it is, but it's a 1-point lead down for Avengers. 3 points away from the victory. Swish has to rotate out of danger. Rotates up here to high ground. But there's a little bit of a split here from Avengers. They're split 2 and 2. Huss finds the opening pick, extends that lead. Neurotical finds a kill of his own. Avengers are about to come back and about to take the series 2-0 if they can find one more kill. Tusk is weak at the bottom of Whirlpool. Can he get around cover in time? No, he's taken down. Complexity have this game stolen out of their hands in the final moments. And now Team Upset is looking like Team about to be upset themselves because Avengers are in the lead of the series 2-0.
Yeah, this is looking like a role reversal here. Complexity now as the upper dog, or the favorite in this series, down 0-2 to an What's up, dog? Down 0-2 to an Avengers squad that has been playing scrappy all throughout this year. And my God, can we get these guys in org, man? The Avengers, you got such great players on this squad. They absolutely deserve the support of an organization. But if they can't get that for the time being, then maybe we as a community support them instead, because they absolutely deserve it. Love the scrappiness, love the heart, love the passion from Swish and the rest of this Avenger squad.
Tell you what, from Complexity's 4K performance, they leapfrogged over the seeding points of Avengers. And from the looks of this series, they took that personally. They are back for blood in this matchup. Incredible plays across the roster. What an action-packed match number 2 we had. And I just want to give you credit, Mikowski. You are right. The Game 5, when it was Complexity versus Optic Gaming, it was the Game 5 on Slayer Recharge, and the score was a 50-41. So I guess credit to both teams for outplaying what Optic did in that Game 5 from last weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an interesting team. I almost feel like from a composition standpoint, I don't think necessarily that the Avengers have like that young gun strength like you have in Cycle.
Precision had a pretty pop-off game.
Yeah, you could say Neurotical and Precision are the Cycle and Collect of Complexity. Yeah. And then you've got the glue in Huss and Swish countering Tusk and Monster. So I don't know, man. Just like we saw last week, and we felt like for sure Optic was going to take Complexity to a Game 5 and start that reverse sweep. I think we're heading to the exact, it is a mirror image for me with this series today.
So you're saying Complexity, even though they were up 2-0 in that mirrored scenario, now they're down 0-2. So you're saying they take the next 2 games to force that Game 5?
Yeah, it feels to me like those games were so close. A camo pull, a rocket, camo pull on Recharge, an extra rocket or OS on Empyrean, that could have been the difference. So when you look at the sandbox and it being so crucial and being crucial at a base point for Halo Infinite, and then being really the difference in these 2 games so far, it's absolutely plausible that Complexity wins these next 2 with the likes of a sniper, with the likes of a consistent control of that sniper tower, looking down on the overshield. You got used to that shroud screen, so don't be surprised if Complexity comes back here and we head to a Game 5. But we got to take it one step at a time now. Heading to Game 3, live fire.
We got some King of the Hill here on the live fire. We've seen Complexity having a strong play here on this King of the Hill. Can they bring it back here with a tougher matchup in front of them and an unfamiliar position for them, at least as far as today is concerned? Instead of being up 2-0, instead of dominating, they find themselves with their backs against the wall. Avengers with all the momentum, and Collect with that sniper. He lines up the shot. It's enough for a trade. That sniper's going to sit atop mid, and Neurotical stays on the map. Miraculously avoids the mind the gap and instead turns lemons into lemonade as he takes down a kill, preserves his life. Yeah, massive advantage for Tusk, but it's Neurotical making the huge play. Huss looking to do one better, taking down Collect. This start for Avengers is so strong. I'm curious to see if they have to have overshield, right? Yeah, they do. Swish with a full overshield, pushing up with that heat wave. 3 go down for Complexity, and now Avengers should be able to start the scoring. Yeah, it should be. They have, what, 5 seconds of objective time, right? They are outslain by like 3-1 margin. and only have 10 seconds of objective time to show for it. And Cycle here and Ness is the next, you know, item up for grabs, the next priority target. As he goes down, Avengers once again find themselves with numbers. Hopefully this time turn that into objective time.
Want to see some of that survivability on display, but no, he goes down. 1 HP around the corner. Monster gets sniped in the face. And Avengers, I don't know, maybe we're not, based on the eye test here of the first 30, 40 seconds or so, Avengers, they're looking primed to sweep Complexity, sort of the darling of the HCS right now. Could the Avengers now be that new team working their way from that 10-11 seed all the way to the top like we saw Complexity do last week?
16-7 is the slays, more than double the slays, and one hill capture as well for Avengers. They are starting out strong. They are seeing that Complexity are trying to kind of wedge their foot in the door, and they are slamming it right back on them. They might come out of this with a broken foot at the end of the day if Avengers can keep the pace up. This is exactly the way they wanted to start out, not just the series, but especially in this game number 3. They can't let Complexity get confident, and you keep taking down players like that, Precision, and that door is looking more and more locked in the face of Complexity.
This is efficient use of the sniper right here as Precision continues to grab time.
Oh, back smack.
Goes down eventually, though. Yeah, a great flank, though, from Cycle and the rest of Complexity as he has 1 HP and 1 plasma pistol to work with. Huss with 1 HP left in that overshield looks to continue to go to work here against Tusk. But Tusk is going to go down to Swish. So much great recognition of team support and team help there as Swish continues with 1 better, the double kill for Swish.
Huss already in double digits. If you look at his 11 and you pair that with the 11, okay, now 12 total slays on the side of Complexity, Huss is nearly single-handedly matching the number of kills that the full Complexity roster has accumulated.
And I think about Monster, I'm gonna invest in a tripod. Maybe the headband GoPro, which like adds pounds and pounds of weight to your head. I just can't imagine that's a comfortable situation to be in. So I think for Monster, the strat here is going to be to invest in a tripod instead of the headband.
There you go, pro strats from Mikowski on how to, you know, have your cam.
I say that because I think it's affecting him.
It makes a difference.
I think it's fair. I think it's fair to
sure.
Yeah, I think it's fair to point out because again, it's routine, comfortability. There's just so much that you try to just replicate day in, day out with being a professional player. And I gotta imagine this is the first time Monster's ever played Halo with the GoPro attached to his head. That's gonna make it extremely difficult. It's already hard enough going up against the best players in the world, the likes of Swish and Huss popping off like this. So maybe a strategy change of an unorthodox variety for Complexity after this one.
A little bit of a physical equipment change, an IRL equipment change might just might be the key. So definitely something to think about, especially if there are more opportunities that he wants to have the camera on for trying to verify his legitimacy, which we respect. We talked about that before. We do see this hill number 3, possibly the game-winning or game-losing hill. Plenty of time left, though, for Complexity, but they sure would like to get right back in this match in arm's reach. The first 2 hills going to Avengers. Hill number 2 quickly won by Avengers. A little bit of a numbers advantage here from Complexity, although they are going up against the overshield once again, won over by Avengers. They have had great power-up control throughout this game.
Highly contested hill 3, and it needs to be for Complexity. You really need to bring this back. They still have enough time if they do go down 3-0 with over 3 minutes to go, but every second that ticks away ticks further towards the Avengers, capping that 3rd hill. The push from Tusk, and it's going to be almost a desperation push as you could have used that time instead to rotate for the next hill. Complexity needing every bit of these hills if they're going to come back down 3-0. And speaking of the rotation, because Tusk desperate for that 3rd hill, Avengers are going to start the scoring on the 4th.
Neuronica lurking in the corner, but Collect sniffs it out, finds the kill. Collect now needing to preserve his life. He feels the pressure coming from that dummy side door. Precision finds another kill, and it's Collect who answers back with some help from Cycle. This duo, this young gunning duo is starting to get warmed up, and this is exactly what Complexity need. They are down 0-3, and they're down 0-2 in the series, and as they're both taken down, it's looking like some trouble because Avengers have been playing these objectives with such a focus. Now the breakthrough from Complexity, but they need to play pretty much perfect from here on out if they're going to get back in this game.
Yeah, what's that Toy Story Buzz Lightyear Woody meme where it's just like reverse sweeps everywhere. That is where complexity is. They
Yeah.
need to reverse sweep everything. The micro, the macro. They're down 0-3 in this game, needing a reverse sweep in game 3 to stay alive in this tournament. But Magic, I just got to keep it real. They're not looking strong. They're not looking up to the test. This is so surprising after what we saw from them. Granted, they weren't playing the likes of an Avengers squad, but this is not the same complexity that we've been following and riding on board here with Swish, sending a few extra shots into the back of Tusk. The body disrespect could not be at a higher level. So too are the Avengers playing at a high level, taking that third game sweep 4-0.
Unexpected at the very least. The upset, and Avengers are looking a little bit mad, a little bit out for blood. You saw the extra shots being dealt out, and what we fully anticipated to be a full 5-game series is a clean 3-0 win. Games 1 and 2 were highly contested, very competitive, but that game number 3, complexity, they lost a little bit of their sparkle.